We are sitting in the shadows of a fantastic 19th edition of the Silver Pigskin Gala. We'll hear from new winner Jack Tuttle in his first post-victory media stop, as well as a visit from Chris Ello and a big prep night. That is all ahead, but first we turn our attention downtown. It is bowl season. That's Mike Leach of Washington State and Mark Dantonio of Michigan State glad-handing before their top 25 squads square off in the Holiday Bowl on December 28th. And would you believe it, fresh out of their conference, here they are, Mike and Mark. Gentlemen, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So you two obviously get to chat today. How well do you guys know each other? How much you guys going to be chatting it up in these weeks before game time?
Well, this is a good start right here. I've watched his teams from afar for a long time, and so always admired what they did.
You know, I've got to know Mike a little bit, just in coaching circles a little bit. I talked with him a little bit last year at the Fiesta Frolic. Didn't know we'd be playing against him, but so hopefully he gave us a little something.
There you go. So let's talk matchup. Coach Leach, tell me one thing you're scared of from Sparty, and Coach D, tell me one thing you're scared of from the Cougs.
The biggest thing is they're a real physical team, and everybody tries to be physical. They're a real physical team with pretty big people.
I think for us, I think it's the spacing on offense, the things that they do offensively, conceptually, and then defensively too. They run a lot of different things, and they're going to pressure you.
You definitely know they bring the fireworks. Now, Coach Leach, we know we're the prep football show in town. We have the PPR here, and by my count, your team has 7 folks who are on our show over the years. Now, we can't talk about all of them, but can you touch how guys in our market like Jahad Woods, Desmond, Dominic Silvels, how have they helped you over these past few years?
Well, I think San Diego's always been an important recruiting spot for us, and we've had a number of guys play early from San Diego as well, and Southern California in general is maybe the biggest chunk of our recruiting effort, that in Washington. And so I think it's, all those players have had an impact. And so, and I think great recruits down here in San Diego as well as the rest of Southern California. So we're excited about all those guys, and it's a good opportunity for them to come down here closer to home.
Especially Patrick Henry, apparently, because you had guys there, the best 2 players the last 2 years. You've gone and taken those guys, too. Coach Dantonio, you've only played in California, I think, twice since you took the Michigan State job. Do you just not like sunshine and the finest state in the union or something? What's going on here? Why haven't we seen you?
Well, I think our guys are going to be excited to come out to the West Coast. A lot of them have not been out here, but you've got a big alumni base out here in Southern California and somewhat in Arizona as well. So I think we'll represent it. There'll be a lot of Spartans here.
Do you think your players are looking forward to anything specific here? We've got burritos, we've got fries, we've got the zoo. What's one thing you think your players are looking forward to seeing, Coach D?
Oh, I think, coming over and seeing the mountains and seeing the sun at this point. We had 7 to 10 inches today, so of snow that would be. And so I think they're excited about that, 75-degree weather, and then got to get ourselves in shape to play at this with the weather as such, but we look forward to it.
Understood. Well, Coach Leach, last year you had to play a Minnesota team that was going through some pretty high-profile turmoil. So this year, in comparison, you're the team that's had a little bit of talk before the game. You're losing your 2 wideouts before the game. Why was there drama surrounding that departure? And, they won last year with drama, so maybe it helps bring your team together a little bit when you go through that.
Well, I didn't see a great deal of drama. I mean, one of those fellows I got rid of because he created drama, but, we're pretty well just focused on the guys that are on the team because those are the ones that are important. And, we've got a great young group, and they're pretty young, but they've also done a lot of good things this year. So, we're looking forward to how they do in the Holiday Bowl.
Understood. Now, both of you guys have coached Heisman quality players in your past and in your present. In the stadium you're going to play in on the 28th, San Diego State's Rashad Penny put together more all-purpose yards than anyone in college football this year. In your judgment, since you guys are football experts, shouldn't Rashad Penny at least have been invited to New York for that award?
I agree completely. I think that's the Iron Man, the guy that gets the most all-purpose yards. I think should definitely have gone to New York. And the other thing is, but I think it's a little clouded what the Heisman is. I mean, is the Heisman some projection on who's the key player on the team that eventually wins the national championship, or is it the player that has the biggest impact on his team. And I think that as far as San Diego State goes, certainly it was him.
Yeah, I would agree. Obviously we're not from this area of the country, but you hear things back in the Midwest about him. So I think he's one of the premier players in this country and should have been represented there.
We're getting you guys in the Heisman Committee. I'm going to make that happen right now. Okay, so 10 years from now, where do you see this bowl system heading? 8 teams in the finals, less bowl games. What are you guys seeing in the future?
Well, what I would like to see, and I don't know, I know this, that about 20 years ago when I started talking about playoffs, they all said I was crazy, and then, which they still do anyway, and then and we're a lot closer to my point of view now than we were the detractors then. I do think they've dipped the toe into the playoff thing, which I think is good for everybody. I think it makes it exciting for the fans. I do think we need more playoff slots. I think the minimum we should have is 16. And, and we do it at every other classification. It always amazes me how Division I can't seem to sort, how such a thing would be possible when everybody else is doing it right in front of them. And then, of course, I think you incorporate the bowls because they know how to put on big games and have big events. And so I don't think you break up one system in order to do it. And then the other thing I think is, as we stand now, we have 4 playoff slots and 5 BCS conferences, and so if you're going to have the conference championship from each conference, it's pretty tough to do if you have 4 slots and 5 teams, and then Notre Dame lingering out there besides.
Now,
I
Coach,
think that first of all, college.
Sorry, but before you get there, Coach, I just want to go over this. I don't want to miss it. I know that the kind of buzz right now around you is, 2017, so everybody gets in a Twitter war. I don't want to talk about Twitter. I don't want to talk about your folks at Ann Arbor. I'll just say this. There was an auction on Tuesday at Michigan, and they auctioned off a game-worn pair of Jim Harbaugh's khakis. How much do you think they auctioned off Jim Harbaugh's khakis for, and how much do you think they sold for? What do you think the asking price was? How much do you think they went for?
It's sort of irrelevant to this conversation, really. So I'll pass on that one.
You pass. Well, so did they because it went for $0.
Because I'll start wearing khakis. I got a pair on now, but that's just ceremonial. They're strictly ceremonial.
Is that an intimidation factor, Mike? Is that what you're trying to do? Trying to intimidate them with those?
What? No, I'm just a sharp-dressed guy that, the clothes make the man, and so, no, I'm trying to be as polished and mainstream as I possibly can.
Fair point. Last thing for you, Coach Leach. I've heard you give your opinions on marriage. Anything else you want to give advice about while you have a chance?
Oh, shoot. If somebody makes a mistake of asking me a question about something, I will give them an honest answer the best I can, although there's a fairly good possibility I may screw them up more than help them. But, that's they kind of assume the risk if they're going to make the mistake of asking me.
There you go. That's why we won't make that risk to you. Thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to your bowl game. Okay, thank you very much, guys.